Have you ever felt like you reliving in a different reality from the person standing right next to you? You read the same news, see the same events, yet your conclusions are worlds apart. This isn't just a difference of opinion. This is the perception gap, and it's not an accident, it's engineered. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the sophisticated machine of modern propaganda that creates these divides. We're going beyond the obvious posters and slogans to dissect the invisible forces shaping what you think, what you feel, and ultimately, who you are. Let's start with a concept I call the invisible script. Imagine your life is a movie. You think you're improvising, making your own choices. But what if I told you that you were handed a script the day you were born? This script isn't written on paper. It's written in the stories we're told, the commercials we see, the social media feeds we scroll through. It dictates what success looks like, what's considered normal, what's worth fighting for, and what you should be afraid of. It tells us that buying a certain product will bring us happiness, or that a specific group of people is the source of all our problems. This invisible script operates subtly, shaping our desires and fears without us ever realizing we're following a pre-written narrative. It works because it doesn't feel like propaganda. It feels like common sense. It feels like your own idea. But the next time you have a strong, gut-level reaction to a news story or a political idea, ask yourself, who wrote this scene? Is this my emotion, or is it a line from the invisible script I've been taught to perform? This leads us to our second, more chilling concept, manufactured consent. This term, popularized by Noam Chomsky, describes how in a democratic society, control is maintained not by force, but by manipulating public opinion. The goal is to make people agree with policies and agendas they might otherwise oppose. How is this consent manufactured? It's a multi-layered process. It starts with setting the agenda. Powerful institutions, media conglomerates, corporate lobbies, political organizations decide what topics are worthy of discussion and what remains in the shadows. They frame the debate, choosing the language and the experts to shape how you think about an issue before you even form an opinion. Think about how certain issues are constantly in the headlines, creating a sense of crisis, while others, equally or more important, are completely ignored. That's not a coincidence. It's the first step in manufacturing consent. Then comes the illusion of debate. We see pundits on TV seemingly in fierce opposition, but often they're debating within a very narrow, pre-approved spectrum. The fundamental assumptions, the core of the invisible script, are never questioned. This gives us the feeling of a healthy, open discussion, while in reality, the outcome has been largely predetermined. We are led to a conclusion, all while believing we arrive there on our own. We consent, not because we are forced, but because we have been masterfully guided. Now let's bring this into the 21st century with the architecture of echoes. This is manufactured consent on steroids, supercharged by technology. I'm talking about the social media platforms and search engines we use every single day. We call them platforms, but they are not neutral stages. They are architects designing the very reality you experience. Every click, every like, every share, every second you linger on a video is a piece of data. This data is fed into powerful algorithms whose primary goal is to keep you engaged. And how do they do that? By showing you more of what you already seem to like. It sounds harmless, even helpful. But the result is the creation of a personalized echo chamber. Your feed becomes a fortress, reflecting back your own beliefs, but amplified. Dissenting opinions don't just get pushed down. They disappear entirely. The algorithm builds walls around you, not with bricks and mortar, but with a perfectly curated stream of content. Inside this architecture of echoes, your worldview isn't just confirmed, it's radicalized. Small biases grow into unshakable convictions. Nuance is obliterated. The side isn't just wrong, they become incomprehensible, even monstrous. Why? Because you literally never see the information that would allow you to understand their perspective. You are living in a different, algorithmically generated reality. This isn't a bug in the system, it's the system working as designed. Engagement is the currency, and outrage is the most engaging emotion of all. These echo chambers are the breeding grounds for the extreme polarization we see all around us. They are the engine of the perception gap. So, we have the invisible script providing the narrative, manufactured consent setting the boundaries of debate, and the architecture of echoes locking us into personalized feedback loops. It sounds bleak, I know. It can feel like we're just puppets in a grand dystopian play. But here's the crucial part. Recognizing the strings is the first step to cutting them. The creators of these systems rely on our ignorance. They thrive when we are passive consumers of information. Our power lies in becoming active, critical participants in our own perception. This isn't about rejecting everything or falling into cynicism. It's about developing a new kind of literacy for the 21st century. Propaganda immunity. How do we build this immunity? First, we must practice active questioning. When you encounter a piece of information, especially one that triggers a strong emotional response, pause. Ask the simple questions. Who is telling me this? Why are they telling me this now? Who benefits if I believe this? What is being left out of this story? This simple act of pausing and questioning breaks the hypnotic rhythm of the feed and re-engages your critical mind. Second, we must deliberately break our echo chambers. This is uncomfortable. It means seeking out perspectives that challenge our own. It means following thinkers you disagree with, reading publications from the other side, and truly listening to people whose life experiences have led them to different conclusions. The goal isn't necessarily to change your mind, but to understand, to see the humanity and the reasoning behind a different point of view. Use tools like news aggregators that show you headlines from various sources, left, right, and center. Force the algorithm to work for you, not against you. Make your feed a place of discovery, not just reinforcement. Third, focus on the fundamentals. So much of modern propaganda works by distracting us with trivialities and emotional outrage while fundamental power structures go unchallenged. Instead of getting caught up in the daily soap opera of political scandals, focus on the bigger questions. How is wealth distributed in our society? Who controls our data? What is the environmental impact of our consumption? By focusing on these core issues, you become much harder to manipulate with superficial distractions. Finally, and this is the most important part, we need to rebuild our shared reality through genuine, face-to-face connection. The digital world is designed to divide us. Real-world community is the antidote. Talk to your neighbors. Join a local group, volunteer, have difficult conversations with friends and family, not with the goal of winning an argument, but with the goal of understanding. These connections are the threads that can stitch our fractured society back together. They remind us that behind the avatars and the angry comments are complex human beings, just like us, trying to make sense of the world. The perception gap is the great challenge of our time. It's a chasm that threatens to swallow our ability to solve problems, to cooperate, to even coexist. But it is not insurmountable. The invisible script, manufactured consent, the architecture of echoes, these things lose their power the moment we see them for what they are. We have the ability to rewrite the script, to retract our manufactured consent, and to tear down the walls of our echo chambers. It requires courage. It requires effort. It requires a commitment to truth, however complex and uncomfortable it may be. The war for your mind is being waged every single second of every single day. It's time to fight back. Start today. Question one thing you see online. Seek out one opposing viewpoint. Have one real conversation. That is how we begin to close the gap. Thank you so much for watching. If this video made you think, please consider liking and subscribing for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. And share this with someone you think needs to hear it. Let's start a real conversation in the comments below. See you next time.